Let's talk about the running backs and some more articles coming out about trying to unpack the mystery that is what's going to be happening with Brian Fleury's offense. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen back with another episode of Seahawks Digest, the show that is eagerly counting down the days until actual football returns, and appreciates you guys still checking in on what I got to say. As always, like, subscribe, comment, share, all those other things as we go through all of this. The headline that I saw today is talking about specifically concerns surrounding Jadarian Price / the entire running back room, but doing it through the lens of answering a way that Price might get used that I think might surprise some of us. And as we go through all of this, love hearing from you guys, so comment, like, subscribe, share. Okay, the running back room. It's a weird one in general right now. It's always weird with transitions between offensive coordinators, but with Kenneth Walker III leaving for Kansas City and Sharps being out, and by the way, we got potentially good news coming in like a couple of days on Sharps. He's got his next doctor visit right around the corner, so I'm thinking he will be back sooner rather than later and be full steam ahead by the middle of the season, if not like the first couple of games. So that all being said, though, there's a lot of unknowns, and one of the extra doubly layers of unknowns is Jadarian Price. There's a lot surrounding him that we got to break down, and a lot of questions. But in this article, I think, like I said, answers, or at least poses some interesting solutions to him. Before we get to that, we got to say a quick thank you, as always, to PrizePicks, our sponsor for today's video. Right now, if you want to use the code DIGEST when you're signing up, PrizePicks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 in lineups. Okay, so Jadarian Price is the first time in a minute that the Seahawks have taken a first-round running back. He is fantastic at running the ball. He also has returned some punts. One thing, though, that he did not do a necessarily ton of, but did actually like a couple of times, is catch passes. This is going to be the interesting thing that this article brings up, and that I had not really thought about, was just the general usage of the running backs to catch balls. Only 15 receptions for Jadarian Price, but that puts him still at the lead of how many guys have caught passes out of this whole stretch. And it talks about how Fleury is coming into an offense that last year targeted Sharps and Holani for a combined 62 times, but a bunch of targets. The specific reference is down the stretch in the playoffs, in 9 receptions on 11 targets for Holani. Neither of them scored. No running backs scoring touchdowns. So what are we going to, like, are we going to see? I think that we're going to see a surprising thing happen here, because there's all these questions about who's going to be getting. Is it Holani? Is it Jadarian Price? Is it Emmanuel Wilson? Is it going to be somebody new? What's the running back situation going to look like? But I think it's also now an interesting one of just what's the situation going to look like in terms of having. I think Jadarian Price has a great opportunity here to be the pass catching back. There's a lot of layers of unknown to me with Price, because he wasn't the every down back at Notre Dame, and yet he was taken in the first round. So there's obviously some massive projecting out what he's capable of doing. But so far through the offseason, he has taken reps with the first team. We have seen a lot of reports, and the generic reports are going to come out, mostly telling you good news anyway out of OTAs, but it's reports that he is splitting carries or splitting time with Holani, running all those first team reps. But to me, there's an interesting undertone of what if the solution in all of this is to find room for playing time where play guys where there's room for playing time. George Holani can be the guy who takes we just need you to hit the B gap as hard as you can right now and get us 3 yards, be a bruiser. Let's put some mileage on you. Jadarian Price can ease his way into that as he he doesn't need to fight Sharps for RB1 reps right out the gate. Sean Alexander has obviously come out, said all offseason that he sees a ton of upside potential in Jadarian Price and that he could be the only rookie that rushes for 1,000 yards. And some of that will be contingent and dependent upon like how quickly does, Sharps coming back in week 2 versus week 6 leaves a ton of wiggle room there for what the rush yards could look like for Price. But I would also be curious as you bring back Sharps, I don't think you're going to immediately just put him in a position where like you're going to ask him to do everything. And a big part of that could be the little waggle, the swing out left, the having him as the trail guy where it's like, hey, do we hit the tight end down there for 10 yards or do we check down to the running back for 2 or 3 yards? And then you got some room for some open field tackles and some contact that feels a little bit more left-right versus head-on. And that would be somewhere where I'd be like, let's eliminate that risk for Sharps. And I'm, knock on wood, I'm not trying to say like, let's put Jadarian Price in harm's way, but I think it's an interesting just talking point of there are no running backs on the roster right now who are that certified pass catcher, and yet that's a part of the offense that we want to have established and crowned. So why not at least out the gate give Jadarian Price that entire workload? Let him, if he's got fresh legs and he's run with the ones and he's done punt returns, and not that punt returns are receptions, but it's a little bit of a, like to catch a punt and to catch a pass is a similar enough concept that I would trust him in the catching of it, but also in the understanding how to manage open space and how to be elusive. And I think you kind of get what I'm saying. Curious what you guys think. Do you want to try and still just spread it all out, or do you want Fleury saying, hey, we got different running backs who are going to do different skill sets, so let's divvy up the workload? And even then when Sharps comes back, I think we can still say that there's a good case to be made for we don't need to spend him, even if he is back by week 3 or 4 healthy, we don't need to put a burden on him initially and can let him grow into like week 10 or 12. He's back to like a full workload. That's where I'm at. That's what I got for you today. Let me know what you think. Before we get out of here, you know what we got to do. We've got to say a quick thank you to Prize Picks, our sponsor for today's video. Right now, if you use the code DIGEST, DIGEST, when you're signing up, they'll give you $50 when you play your first $5 in lineups. They've also got great promotions going on for all you returning users out there. Taco Tuesdays, all Tuesday, every Tuesday. Their board is serving up discounted projections, and then you can close out your week with Flex Fridays. Use your Flex Friday boost to boost your payouts by up to 40%. Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app. Best way to get in on the action. Thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring this video. Thank you all to tuning in for another episode and killing some more time between now and the start of the season. Until then, we'll talk to you guys soon.